Hey there humans, Bob here with another Suicide Squad video, and today we're going to be talking about the latest update that has just come from the devs. And it's a pretty big one too. For those of you who aren't part of the main Discord, you may have missed the update from RS Axel, who is the game director for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. While the post is pretty long, and I will put the link in the description down below for the post itself, I want to give you a quick update on the highlights of what was said. So let's jump into it, starting off with burn. For those of you who haven't seen, there is a clear meta in the endgame right now, and that is burn builds. Basically, if you want to get to Mastery 200 right now, as it stands, the best way to do that is a burn build. In fact, I'd go as far to say as this is probably the only way. Although some of you that are running burn builds might disagree with me, in fact, I still run one on certain activities, this kind of singular meta isn't good for the longevity of a live service game like this. Build diversity is really important for the endgame, not just so I can make more videos, but also so you can actually have fun theory crafting and putting together builds, because if everyone's building the same thing, there's no creativity there at all. The reason burn builds are so meta right now isn't actually intentional. Axel has shared that it is indeed a bug that the burn affliction scales the way it does, which effectively negates the difficulty of higher mastery levels, meaning no matter how high you go, the difficulty is still pretty much the same. But what are they doing about it? Well, first of all, they're fixing the burn affliction and correcting the scaling of it as you rise through the mastery ranks. We're told it should still remain viable, but should be brought in line with other builds as well. So keep that in mind if you've only focused on meta builds to this point. With a fix to something as prominent as this, it begs the question, what will happen to the leaderboards, since the majority of the players at the top of the leaderboards are using burn builds. In fact, if you go and look at the top players on the leaderboards, you'll notice that they pretty much all have the same build. So in the interest of fairness, and whilst everybody who is currently placed where they've placed on the leaderboards, none of that's going to be removed, you have earned that, and that should be celebrated, there is going to be a new leaderboard after the changes to the burn scaling have been implemented. Again, nothing from the launch until the fix will be removed. Everything will be there for you to be able to see, so congrats if you've placed pretty high already. But if they are changing the scaling to burn, then how exactly are we going to be dealing damage now? Those of you who have played above Mastery 50 will have noticed a pretty hefty jump in enemies' health, to the point where it's pretty much impossible to put a significant amount of damage in without using burn. The good news is that the team have recognized that and are also working to find a solution on that as well. And whilst they are nerfing Heatwave's Molten Skin and Turtle Shell simply because they gave you straight up immunity before, they'll now reduce damage by 90% instead, they are reducing the health on higher mastery levels. So we will be able to defeat enemies quicker, but we will need to work harder to avoid incoming damage too. While I like the fact that they are reducing enemy health, for those of us who aren't using those two pieces of gear, avoiding incoming damage is already an issue, especially with modifiers like Boom and Destroyers being able to nuke you from the other side of the map. Couple that with the amount of snipers that can shoot you from the other side of the map as well, and disable your traversal attack along with your actual traversal, I'm actually still not really happy with the state of endgame. A lot of the time it feels like you're being punished just for playing at a high level. While I agree it should be challenging, it is absolutely constant, and the majority of the time I find myself getting downed is caused by something that I can't actually see or counter. Hopefully this is something the devs have considered as well, and will continue to be tweaked in the future updates. The good news, however, is that with all these changes that they've announced recently, they have talked about committing to a weekly dev update. Be it big or small, they are going to commit to delivering us information once a week. And if you're interested in this game, then you might want to subscribe to the channel, as I'll be covering those weekly updates. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.